Welcome friends to another 40k video. In this one we will look at one of the bits of technology deployed by the old ones. They're called demon cages. We'll go over the Black Crusade related lore, discuss their use of wards and how it might reflect technology used by Dark Age of Technology humanity, and ask how could the Imperium employ such cages to aid their cause against chaos. So let's explore the world of 40k together. Let's begin. A little of the context first. During the 13th Black Crusade, there is a war within the Daemons system involving the Blood Angels, and it's revealed that at some point the Old Ones, the first race we believe in 40k, who are a master of the warp, created the eldar, krorks, etc., and fought the Catan and necrons during the War in Heaven, also encountered chaos and found a way to seal the breaches of chaos that come into the materium. This is called the Demon Cage. That lore is what we will discuss today. First, from the Black Crusade campaign book, Angel's Blade. Let's set the scene. Captain Carlane, meanwhile, had learned from techno-archaeologist Dominus Ivasnophon what was at stake. The first captain, initially angry at the Magos' imperious summons, had become serious and engaged as Ivasnophon revealed the nature of the technology that he sought upon Amethyl. It was an ancient prize, something made by those who ruled the galaxy long before the first Terran life forms emerged from the primordial ooze. Other examples of its sort have been found across the galaxy from time to time, hints at an incredibly potent weapon against the power of chaos. The Eldar encounter one in one of their novels, if my memory serves. Ivasnophon specialised in the location, excavation and imitation of such archaeo-technological treasures. For centuries he had been following a tenuous trail of clues towards this, his first great find. Amethyl was not a planet, he explained, but rather a skin of rock and biosphere stretched as camouflage over an ancient cage, vast beyond belief, wreathed in arcane wards and dark technologies. It was a prison eternal for demonic entities. It was the Magos Dominus' belief that the Amethyl cage contained hellish beings beyond count, trapped for millennia beyond warded bars. Why the ancients had sought to isolate these creatures from the warp was a mystery lost to the mists of time, but the Magos were certain they had succeeded. Captain Carlane was horrified at this revelation, for if that were true, then the empiric inmates of this world represented a dreadful danger to the defences around the Cadian Gate. At the same time, he was not slow to grasp Ivasnophon's purpose on this world. Building upon his countless decades of study and experimentation, the Magos Dominus was at last nearly able to replicate the technologies of the Demon Cage. He was weeks, months at most from creating and then mass-producing devices that could cage demons on a vast scale. Though not a permanent solution to the demonic threat, such devices might end demonic incursions as soon as they began, and thus turn the tide in the war for the Cadian Gate. I'll discuss this more in depth in a moment. The Metallican excavations across Amethyl have revealed that there was terrible danger here as well, balanced against great reward. The Demon Cage had a weak point, discovered beneath the excavation site at Hub Beta Secundus. Whether an intentional exit or the product of millennia of wear and tear, there was a zone in Amethyl's northern hemisphere where demonic energies, whispering voices, and strange phenomena leaked through. Until this point it had proved a localised hazard for the Metallicans, but little more. A number of their excavation servitors and secretary guards had mutated or engaged in murderous rampages, but these were acceptable losses considering the prize at hand. However, it appeared that Lord Zorphus had learned the weak spot as well. Magos Ivasnophon, which is getting harder and harder to say for some reason, theorized that the heretics had deployed their crimson slaughter shock troops primarily for this very purpose. The demon-haunted nature of the renegades was well documented, and it seemed that Zorphus had cynically exploited that open connection to the powers of the warp. So let's discuss some of these points. First, why make the cage? I think of two reasons. If they were already fighting the necrons during the War in Heaven, and there are many demon incursions, they would likely not want to have a fight on a third front. They could move around the galaxy through the webway, so would be able to avoid the demons in the warp most of the time. Using the tech to create demon cages to stop war on a third front, they could stop or delay anything happens from that attack point till a later date, when they're more able to deal with them. Remember, there are apparently many around the galaxy, and they do seem equipped to contain them with wards. How can they contain the demons? We are told that arcane wards are mentioned. The cage was wreathed in arcane wards and trapped for millennia behind warded bars. Now, that ties into a theory of mine, and for those of you who've already heard it, I'll repeat it here in brief. It is that Dark Age of Technology humanity seems to have wards to help fight against the warp. The obvious example is the warding tech used by the Grey Knights. It has two types, hexagrammic and pentagrammic. Farsight from the Tau has wards in his armour that help him fight chaos. The Leagues of Votan, who seem to carry with them a lot of advanced, likely Dark Age origin tech, also have wards, and they all seem to allow the protection or manipulation of warp energy. And the wards here around the demon cage seem to fulfill that same reason. Perhaps both civilizations a long time apart discovered this application of wards. The member of the Mechanicus here is trying to duplicate what the old ones did. What could the Imperium have accomplished if they could duplicate the demon ward? I'm not sure why these creatures in particular were bound. Perhaps they were particularly dangerous. Who were they? As I say, we don't know. Perhaps they could be held so none of them could go back to the warp, where they tend to go and eventually return from, so it would end a conflict that way. It would be too large a scale, at least for the Imperium, to get one of these to close the Great Rift or the Eye of Terror to just be there to suck in all the demons that come out. But maybe on a smaller scale, there do seem to be permanent places that allow chaos through to the materium within the 40k universe, and it's the self of demons. What if some of the more powerful bloodthirsters could be locked into one of these? Or stretching things a little bit, what about Draknian, who is so powerful he can even challenge the Emperor, and they lock him up and throw away the key? It would allow some areas of the Imperium to be made more secure from the incursions of chaos, allowing forces to focus on other battlefronts. That's what I think, but who cares about that? What do you think to the lore in this video, and how it could be used by the Imperium? Are you a little like me, yawn yes, chaos dips its toes into everything, or are you chilled about this? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video on 40k, then why not try another one on the channel? I have two playlists for it. One has everything on it. One has videos dedicated to a favourite period of mine, the Dark Age of Technology. I generally have for 40k out around 3 videos a week at best, and currently 1 a week. And if you like 40k, then why not check out the Trench Crusade videos on the channel, as they have a lot of DNA that crosses over. Historically, and to return one day, I did a load of videos on Dune, which also has its own playlist on the channel. There is also a playlist for the Expanse books and TV series, mostly the books, and a short playlist for the Sun Eater series by Christopher Rocchio and Red Rising by Pierce Brown. And that's where we put this video to bed. Good night.